Nice truck. Excuse me. What's up, guys, and welcome to today's video. I know it's been a while, but we're back with a pre-owned bike for once. So my first pre-owned bike on the channel is the 2019 S1000R, and my previous client traded it in with about 590 miles on it, 600 miles, something like that. So this is about as new as used gets, and it's also one of my favorite bikes to ride. So I'm gonna take it for a spin. Just put gas in it, filled it up. We're not going to take it for a spin, we're going to take it to work, actually. Let's see how it commutes. I've already got a little bit of a history with this bike. I'll tell you about it. Not this bike in particular, but the S1000R. So we'll go over that. We'll see how it is. Well, I already know how it is. I love this bike. But, yeah, you know what I mean. Okay, let's go. Come on. Jesus. Well, yeah, as I remember, it's very fast. Oh man, is it fast. Man, this thing is so much easier to white line than my GS. State troopers hide out in there. Not today. Not today. bike sounds good. The engine, the intake, the exhaust. Whoa. Okay. Oh, come on. Oh my god. Oh, they're trying to kill me. This one's big. I think this one is too. A little bit. Oh, that one was. Woo. Suspension's unforgiving on this thing. Because everybody wants to get off Queens Boulevard today. Skirt. Skirt. Oh, skirt. Whoa, that would suck. So cruise control is what I use to make sure that I don't get nabbed by speed cameras. Because Northern Boulevard, Queens Boulevard, Queens in general, they're all over the place. So I set my cruise control to 28. Speed limit I believe is 25. They give you a couple miles an hour grace. Then you get to go. And ironically, I guess that would be a good intro to this story or reason why I'm riding this 2019 S1000R premium package pre-owned bike with 766 miles on it as of now. I was riding in my R1250 GS to work yesterday, and I was actually right here. I was right on this street, maybe a couple blocks up, and my tire pressure warning light came on. I was like, all right, whatever, you know, I'm just outside of the city. I'm sure I can make it. How bad of a leak it could be? So I go to the tire pressure menu. I'm looking at it, and it says like 13.7 psi in the rear tire. I'm like, all right, it's not a lot, but you know, I'll just baby it. And then I'm at a red light, and I'm just looking at it, and I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the tire pressure monitor, and it goes from like 13.7, and then like I'd say a minute and a half later, it's like 11.5. I'm like, oh, it's a fast leak. So I get to a gas station, and I put air in the tire, and as I'm putting air into the tire, I'm hearing the air come out. I'm like, oh man. So I overfill it, like 50, 55 psi, maybe close to 60, just so I have some sort of buffer as it leaks out. And before I make it to the bridge that we're about to cross, before I even make it to the bridge, tire pressure light's back on. I think I'm at like 6 psi at this point. I'm like, all right, it is what it is. But long story short is, I got a flat on my bike yesterday, my first flat ever, which I think is pretty good for the amount of time I've been riding and for the distance I've been riding at times. First flat, not bad. Was a little scary, never had one before, like I said, so the bike felt weird, and you know, you could easily tell the tire was flat once we began to lean it in, and the rear just didn't really want to budge. But tires weren't in stock, so I ordered me a set of Dunlops. Those should be in today, and I should be back on my bike, but I guess this is my loaner. Pre-owned 2019 S1000R, and to be honest, I don't know if I want to give it back. Let me tell you why. Traffic, looking for my chapstick. What I don't understand is, how is there traffic on this side? This is the HOV, although there must be something going on that side, because no, there's people over there too. Oh, it's just something in general with the bridge today. It's just something about New York today. Well, his license plate said nah. Nah. Just nah. Yeah, well, this is New York. So let me tell you a little bit about this S1000R. Polar opposite of my R1250 GS, which is an adventure bike. This is a sport naked. BMW classifies it as a roadster, I guess because it's a non-fixed fairing bike. And essentially what the S1000R is a very slightly watered down version of the S1000RR of the same generation. So this bike came out in 15. It was based off of the 2015. It's based off of the S1000RR. Main difference is it has a little less horsepower. This one's going to come in at about 160 horsepower, but it's going to have more torque than a RR, which is very important on a bike like this, because when you don't have the aerodynamics to really carry you up at high speeds, you don't need all that horsepower. You don't need to try and push 200 horsepower on a bike like this when the torque's going to make it just a much more enjoyable ride, because you're able to get in and out. And there's something loud behind me. There was something loud behind me, hence torque. And the S1000R I have experience with. A buddy of mine went on a road trip a couple years back. I was on my RR, he was on a single R. We ended up doing about 3,000 miles on our bikes in 10, 11-ish days. And his bike was phenomenal, my bike was phenomenal. Man, that thing behind me is really annoying. But I've always liked these bikes. You know why? Because I always thought it was the best parts about the S1000RR, which is the sport bikeness, which is the tight packaged bike, which is the high rear sets, which is the man, this thing behind me is really annoying. Oh, made that one. I don't think he will. So what I like about the S1000R is, although it's not exactly a RR, it takes the best parts from it, like the frame, the geometry, the engine, the electronics. This thing still has dynamic dampening control. It still has cruise control. It still has fly-by-wire and heated grips and ride modes. But, you know, I'm also not on a sport bike. You know, a lot of guys really don't give naked bikes enough credit, because they're not the bikes that you see on TV. They're not the bikes that you see in MotoGP. They're not the bikes that you see in World Superbike, AMA, CCS. They're barely the bikes that you see at a track day. But these things really do have their own market. The naked sport bikes, especially the ones from recent years, like the Tuono, the MT-09, the, what is it, the ZX, whatever the Kawasaki one is, the Z1000, there you go, the S1000R, the MV Agusta Brutale. There's tons of naked bikes in the market, and they seriously are the great parts about their sport bike sisters, with a little more creature comforts. Like, for instance, I have a nice big flat handlebar on this bike versus those clip-ons, so I'm not putting a whole bunch of extra pressure on my wrists. I'm not putting that extra strain on my back. Oh my goodness, this dude behind me is annoying. So like I said, I've always liked the S1000R. I think it's a fantastic bike, and if you found your way to this video to see if you want to get one, just do it. You'll see it compared to a lot of bikes, and bikes that have more horsepower, and bikes that have more flair, and bikes that make cooler noises, and bikes that are Italian, or whatever the case may be. Buy this one. Just trust me, buy this one. You won't regret it. I've always loved this bike. It does very well on the highway for a naked bike, as you saw on my way in. It does very well around town, as you can clearly see. It's got more than enough horsepower, torque, power in general. You're fine there. Brakes are great. Oh, whoa, 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 hey, nice. A wild bagger has appeared. Come on, man, you don't see me driving around. What are you doing? You know, I could have swore you'd be at work already.
So much fucking traffic.
Yo, what was the bridge about? I crossed that, I'm like, what is this? Well, that's Diego, my ponytail co-worker. Oh my. Oh god, I don't even want to look over. It was like I saw his gold watch sticking out, no gloves. Like, come on, bro, you're not even wearing gear. Oh my goodness, I think he's got to turn. Later, Diego, see you at work. Yes, but I do love the S1000R for many reasons. So, if you are considering getting one, find one. I think they're great in the used market. I think they're super affordable. If you're looking for maybe the newer version, I do believe it should be coming out 2021, I hope. Could use a louder horn, and I think that's about it. Oh, a word to the wise: if you do get one, especially one of the later years that already has the Akrapovic exhaust on it, the Akrapovic tailpipe, the can, muffler, whatever you want to call it, leave it there. It is a great exhaust. It's a great muffler from a great company. Akrapovic, however you pronounce it. Get the headers. Get the Akrapovic headers that turn this system into a full system. Leave the tailpipe, just get the headers. Thank me later. I promise you, you'll like it. I think that's about it, folks. We're gonna get over there to the job. This way I can say that I was in first and my coworker was late. Or at least this way I can say that I beat my coworker in, which is the most important thing. You gotta beat the boss, beat the coworker. Beat the coworker, not as important as beating the boss. Only gotta beat the boss. Hopefully I beat the boss. Whoa. Thread the needle. I think what this thing new was like 16 and a half. I mean, the only option this particular bike doesn't have is the forged wheels, which never really bothered me, especially for a naked bike. You know, I would take one of these things either way, but this one has electronic suspension. Most premium package S1000Rs will. Just kind of make sure that you're looking at the right year, because some of the first gen bikes that came out in 15 have a little less standard equipment than the I want to say the 17s and the 18s. But you've got electronic suspension. It's my DDC right there. Right now it's in dynamic. No wonder it's so stiff. I was feeling every one of those potholes. Whew. Different ride modes. Riding it in Dynamic Pro right now. ABS traction control. This one's going to have ABS Pro. It's going to have Gear Shift Assist Pro as well. So I've got the Buttery smooth upshifts. Check it out. Clutchless. Oh, it's perfect. It's so perfect. It's so perfect. Up to 6th gear, minimal throttle input, no jerkiness, and then the auto blipper. Check it out. Watch, we got a red light. Oh, if that isn't perfect, I don't know what is. And this is one of the older bikes considering, and yeah, this quick shifter, the Gear Shift Assist Pro on this bike is fantastic. So you'll get your ride modes, you get your heated grips, you're gonna get your fly-by-wire, you're gonna get your DDC, your traction control, your ABS, you're going to get your cruise control, you're gonna get your, I think that's pretty much it. That's your premium package S1000R. So no, I mean, this one's got fancy frame sliders on it and case savers, but there's your Gear Shift Assist Pro. You can even switch this thing to GP shift, like a naked bike, GP shift. Yeah, this thing's a lot of fun. If you're thinking about getting one, let me save you the trouble about thinking about it and just get it. As always, thank you for watching. Oh, oh, buttery smooth. Oh, and the exhaust sounds so nice for stock. You know, those 2-3 backfires you get, those are actually tuned in there. I can't remember exactly what BMW calls it. It's acoustic something, but that is actually tuned into the bike to be there. So it's not like the bike's running rough or it needs a tune or whatever else. It's from the factory, just to give you a little bit of audio feedback. We like things to look nice, smell nice, and sound nice, and you know, that's why we ride motorcycles. I think this bike is perfect for commuting, if that's what you're looking to do with it. And I know for a fact it's good for road trips. You might have to tweak it a little bit. You can always get some bar risers. You know, if you're leaned a little bit over too much, you could always get a comfort seat. I know that that's what my buddy did on his. You could always get a tiny little fly screen just to help with the wind. But, you know, for a naked bike, the wind protection on this bike is actually pretty good. You know, I guess maybe because of the fact that it has an inline 4 and the motor's a little wide, and that in turn makes the frame and the bodywork a little bit wider than, for instance, the F900R that I've ridden, which is another naked bike. And that bike had a lot more, or rather a lot less wind protection than this did. That one, as far as the naked bikes in BMW's lineup, has the least wind protection. I'd say this and the R1250R are almost neck and neck. They both feel very good, and it helps when there is a little bit of a lean. You know, you don't want to be straight upright on a bike that's naked. You kind of want a little bit of a lean, and also they're normally built off of sport bikes, so that lean's going to be kind of just in the geometry of the bike. But you want that because when the air pressure does decide to hit you at 70-80 miles an hour on the highway, you're already kind of leaning into it. You're not backing up straight and then being pushed back. You can kind of hit the wind head on, and it's, believe it or not, going to be a better experience and end up less fatiguing if you do hit the wind like that on a naked bike versus being straight up and down. You might be more comfortable for the most part on the rest of the ride, but once you're up to speed and that wind starts hitting you, you're gonna wish that you weren't so upright. So I really like the seating position of the bike. Legs feel very sport bike-ish. I mean, this is an S1000R frame, so if you just picture taking an S1000 and taking like a GS and mixing them together a little bit, and you get handlebars on the R. I don't know if that really made sense, but maybe some of you figured out what I was trying to say. Brakes, obviously, from the R as well, so they are fantastic. And the bike is just so nimble. It's so nimble. You know, you just kind of look where you want to go, point the bike there and twist the throttle, and that's where the torque comes in, and for me becomes a little bit more enjoyable than it would be on a R, because I don't have to rev the bike out. You know, I'll find myself in 6th gear on the highway, I'm looking at a spot and I just twist the throttle and I'm there. You know, you almost need to not think so much about the move you want to do and just do it, because if you say, all right, I'm gonna go between these two cars here, let me apply some throttle, you're already there. You're already there. This bike has so much torque that if you think about it, just do it. You need to, or else your brain will be behind this bike. It's pretty much just how it works. This is a quick bike. It is multi-use, road trips, track days, commuting. You can pretty much do whatever you want on this thing. I've always endorsed the S1000R. It's one of my favorite bikes. If you're in the market, go check one out. As always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Skr, skr, skr. Yeah, that's how you do it. Oh, where's Diego? Huh? Oh, he's somewhere on his bagger, or let's call it his boat, because he can't get through traffic because it's massive and it's 800 pounds, and I don't think I brought my key. I gotta wait for him anyway now. I'll go get coffee. Yeah, that's what I'll do.